Hey guys, in this episode, myself and Cayden are going to teach you all about how to figure out the best type of selling for you, given your personality, what you sell, and how to avoid some of the pitfalls that you may be doing or maybe falling into as a sales rep. All right, so enjoy the episode.
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome to an episode of Copies for Closers. Me and Big Daddy Cayden are going to be talking about just selling for your personality. I think a lot of people are running around buying sales training, trying to get better, which is great. And they're just like blindly following what they're being told, which is fine. But at some state, you got to realize who you are as a person, and then either try and lean heavily into it or try and counter it to some degree. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
100%. I'm excited to talk about this one because I've seen it on two very big extremes when I was working with Real Financial and spent some time in the lion's den with Andy Elliott. And also seen the extreme from our alma mater, the old seventh level. And they're two completely different things, completely separate. But I started to see a lot of they attract very different people.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's necessarily like just because they attract it doesn't mean that they should do that style exclusively. I think and I don't think there's a wrong. I think if you say like seventh level's way of selling is the right way and like Andy's is the wrong way, for example, that's not correct. There just is if you try and get someone with the conviction and of Andy Elliott, who's I've spoken to the man, he is look straight through you, but very good at connecting with people, obviously. And probably, and I haven't met him in person, but extremely charismatic.
Yes.
Right. If you try and dull that down with neutral words and language, it's just not going to come off. But he's like a unicorn level charisma. That's why he's so big online, And then you take someone who's super leaned out and stuff like that, and you try and make them do that, it's going to be silly, right? So they're not going to pull it off. They don't have it.
For most people, there's probably a happy medium. But we in insurance and in both of the things that we're in with committed coaches and insurance, you see it to almost an extreme because there are offers that pull that out of people, like the mercenaries.
There's a lot of newbies as well that are sycophantic about particular ways of doing things. But I was told this. I don't give a fuck what you're told. You sound stupid. It's what do you want me to tell you? That's a good way of doing it, but you suck at it, so probably try it a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Try it a different way. I think that the hard thing is most people need to change their personality a little bit, or maybe not change their personality, but change how their personality comes through when they get into sales. Because most of the world basically tells you that you need to not be confident and not be convicted. And if you are, you're an asshole. And then you get into sales, and if you don't have confidence and you don't have conviction, regardless of your personality, the confidence and conviction is necessary.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. It seems to come up an awful lot, I think in trainings, and I think in the training we had with the sniper insurance guys last week, I sort of covered it, and I was like, guys, but one of the tests we were like, hey, who would raise your hand if you would tell someone to fuck off if they cut in line? And the guys who were like, no, it's well, then don't use an NEPQ-esque super leaned out tonality with neutral words. Maybe could be possibly because you're not someone who's really forthright and direct. You're more leaned out, neutral, passive, right? And so you're just going to make yourself sound like you have no idea what you're talking about. You try and do that sort of a little bit of that confused old man tone, hey, I'm just wondering, what I mean? But it comes off as you're genuinely confused while you're there.
Yeah.
Right. And the biggest difference I tell people is you sound like you're confused why you exist. Cayden sounds like he's confused why you haven't moved forward yet.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And it's it's a very subtle but very obvious difference at the same time.
Yeah, and you're not confused with dementia. You're Jeff Bezos walking into a gas station in the middle of nowhere because your phone died, and you're like, where the fuck am I? And how do I get back to the highway?
Yes, exactly. But you're like, but just point me in a direction, mate, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, not like, hello, what's that now? All right. That's my scammer voice whenever I get, my kids love it when scammers call me. And I know because immediately in Australia, if you call me from a landline, you're a scammer. And so
Yeah.
I put on speakerphone and I go, hello, what's that now? Like that. My kids piss themselves. They're like, sir, you need to go to Kmart and you have to get a gift card. And where now? What card? They hang up on me every time. I love it. Anyway, side note. My kids even get me to like talk to them in the old man anti-scammer voice.
They like to see
Um,
it.
yeah, they love it. I think it's hilarious. um, but yeah, so but I think like I'm a very direct person. You're quite a direct person as well. So that like NEPQ style for me was like great. You know what I mean? And I think it's a great style. I think it's a fantastic selling method, right?
Yep.
I would say overall, I think it's the best one, but there's a huge caveat to that. Whereas, like, I think if you don't understand how that system works, and if you're newish to sales, and if you're not a direct and forthright and confident person, I think it will make you significantly worse in the short term,
Yeah.
until you figure it out. And I see these people come on to committed coaches and they're like, hey, it looks like you're maybe possibly looking for some help losing some weight. And it's like, oh, I hate you.
Well,
Like,
it
I don't
doesn't
want to
make
have a phone
sense
call with
for
that
what we're
person.
it doesn't make sense for what we're doing there because they're buyers. And so because they've already like at community coaches, we don't have any leads that aren't buyer leads. And so because they're
I think there was only
buyers
11,000 yesterday. So if you're looking for some leads, link in bio.
yesterday. Yeah, and if you guys want to be on the best team, link in this bio.
Whatever, as long as they come in.
As long as they come in. But it's funny because they're already buyer leads. Like they already know they have a problem. So if you act really confused about whether they have a problem or not, that doesn't make sense. They already bought something for it. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
I agree with
exactly.
what you're saying, though. I was that person where I did NEPQ when I was very new and I sucked, right? You once described me actually on this podcast a few years ago as one of the most miserable people to train because I suck so bad. But I wouldn't give up.
Nice.
I wouldn't give up.
I'm an inspirational coach. That's what I aim to be.
Here we are.
Right?
It's funny how it comes full circle. But I
Yeah.
overcomplicated it and I tried to become a different person to do NEPQ. And because I'm naturally pretty direct, right? But I was trying to do what?
It's exhausting trying to be a
Yeah.
different person all day.
Yeah. I was
hard.
drained
Yeah.
every day, burned out, trying to work long hours, but you can't. And it was when I spent time around Andy, I didn't stop doing NEPQ. Right. And for what it's worth, Andy never tried to get me to stop doing NEPQ. All he did was like build me up personally. He just made me feel
Just give me
better
more
about
confidence.
me. He gave me way
Yeah,
more confidence. And that
Yeah.
combination in NEPQ, he just gave me the permission to be myself within NEPQ.
Yep.
And that's when I started having
that's
the
actually
biggest leads.
huge. Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. Like, I mean, I think people are, instead of taking key concepts, they're trying to take something holus bolus and they're trying to adapt it. And it's like, one, you don't understand it. Two, you didn't even practice it. You just start to implement it, right? Which is stupid. And then three, like, you haven't really thought about it, And then you've got, so that's like one thing. Then you've also got like really direct styles, like you're more straight line, right?
Yep.
Like a straight line is a steamroll, and it's
Yep.
a steamroll from start to finish, right? And I think that is a great way to sell. Just like I think NEPQ is a great way to sell. I think that if you're a steamroller and you drive a steamroller, I think that you will end up like steamrolling a bunch of people, but also putting a whole bunch of people off. And so a little bit of neutrality, just a little bit of tonality, and some intentional things there to soften that a bit, make that way better.
Yep.
Exactly. And so, yeah. And then there's, Cardone type selling. And again, there's like, and like Zig Ziglar, right? I don't know if you've ever watched anything from Zig Ziglar, but he's like charisma and stories and
Yep.
like the guy that you just want to talk to all day. You know, I think out of all sales trainers that I've ever seen, Zig Ziglar would be the most fun to be around.
Yeah, for
Right? He
sure. I
just
have watched some of
seems
his
like,
stuff.
yeah, you know, and like but if you're not, so if you're not naturally super leaned out, neutral, and like the I don't give a fuck type
Yep.
mentality, you know what I mean? Or if you're not like super confident, convicted, or if you're not this like charismatic storyteller, and if you're not like a steamroller or whatever. So you got to kind of do a bit of a self-assessment of where you are in like your natural proclivity. And then from
Yep.
there, you've got to figure out, okay, I've got to balance that out a little bit. I was on a sales training yesterday with a team that I've been training for years. And the main guy, he's a good dude, but he is a fucking steamroller of a sales rep, right?
Yeah.
But he has crossed the line recently between like, he's gone to like, there's a bit of venom behind every question. You can hear
Mhm.
that it's like, and the guy's quite religious, and so I was talking to him the other day, and I was trying to put it into his words, and um, I was like, hey man, like let's just say you're trying to convert someone to the gospel. They're like, yep, and I was like, and they don't want to hear it. Would you go, hey man, it's fine, I'm going to heaven, right? Like, would you say that? He's like, no, and I was like, well, that's what you sound like on sales calls. And I was like, that's not how you change someone's mind. That's how you make them feel stupid and make it feel like you feel like you're right.
Yep.
And you feeling like you're right doesn't change anyone's mind. Okay.
Yep.
And so you've got to figure out a way to like take who you are and don't change who you are. But when you educate, right,
Yep.
when you're trying to persuade, you have to like soften or harden your basic line personality traits through methods that you can control.
Yep.
You know, and that's tonality, that's the use of like the actual words that you use, stuff like that. I was like, you need to work on that because like right now it's just not working. And then you got on the other side, we got another guy on the team called Michael, who's like probably like the most genuinely curious human being I've ever met. I don't mean curious as in weird, I mean like he's just a super curious person, right?
He
And
just
he's like,
likes
oh,
to know.
what's that? Oh, he's like, oh, what's that? No, I mean, and he just kind of dives into shit, right? And mate, he's
Yep.
fucking crushing it, crushing
Interesting.
it. Because he is like he's really studied like a script in the system. He's really, really like interested in sales. And so he's gone down the
Yep.
rabbit hole on it. But he's so naturally curious about people that he's like, oh, what do you mean? And they're like, blah, 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 and they just go. And they
Yeah.
just within 5 minutes, he's like the best friend, and they're just giving him everything he needs. What he needs
Yep.
to work on at the end is a little bit of slappy, make daddy happy at the end, you
Yeah.
know?
Get
And
through it.
so yeah. And so it's just super interesting when you see these like I used to train people the same way,
Yep.
regardless of like and like over the last couple of years, I've really realized, you know, you've got to give people the advice that's right for them. And that's it. Like just like it's got to be specific for them.
Yeah,
Because
because
someone like
wrong
you,
advice.
I could break you as a sales rep. And we've seen it. We've like handed people off to other people.
Yep.
And they're very dogmatic about one way of doing things. And it's like, I get it. But
Yep.
like that person's meek and meeker. Don't give them a neutral script. That person's a steamroller. Don't give them a steamroller because they're going to steamroll anyway. Now they're just double steamrolling.
Now they're
You know?
offending people. Now you have
Yeah.
complaints.
Now we're getting mad complaints. You know, we told the guys the other day actually on the insurance call. We were like, you should get a complaint every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, because people
There
are
should
like
be some
pretty
people.
soft shelled.
Yeah.
And so if you're not offending anyone, like
It's not a good sign.
surely someone's offended.
So for
You know what I
somebody
mean?
that's like a type A person that is more steamrolly and probably a little bit more logical,
Yeah.
let's say they're a little bit newer to sales,
Mm.
10 grand or less a month. What would you be like? Yeah, these are a couple good options to go sell.
Is in like industry or is in like styles to go learn?
Like industry.
Um, you know, I
Or does it
think you
matter?
can get by. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter really. But I think that, you know, if I've always said like, I mean, if you're at 10 grand a month, like you're not bad at sales, right? Like
Yep.
I mean, obviously it depends what you're selling. Let's assume you sell something that has any level of decent commission. You're not selling a $10 widget and you're the goat, you know.
Yeah.
Right? Like 10 grand a month and $2 commissions. Like, god damn,
That's a lot.
motherfuckers crushing it, you know. So yeah, but I think like there are a couple of things. Anything where like the best things to sell are things that are like bulletproof.
Mhm.
You know, insurance is bulletproof, fitness is bulletproof. Those are the two best things to sell. Like I don't give. There's a reason why me and you are in insurance and committed coaches, because
Yeah.
like they are the best things to sell. Because if you can crack the code on insurance, you can have a career forever, and you can make enormous, crazy sums of money. I mean, like 300 grand a
ridiculous.
month. Like we both know people that have made 300 grand a month selling insurance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're not selling final expense, making 300 grand a month. You know, but
You got to get there
fuck
somehow.
man, you can make a lot of money in that industry. As a sales rep, not as a person that owns a giant agency. Like you can make a shitload of money. I've seen dudes who are I've seen dudes make 90K a month who are like selling a combination of final expense, mortgage protection, and like general life. And they're been in sales for 6 months. Like I have seen that happen myself. There's a guy on Dollar who did that.
Yep.
Right?
I know exactly who you're
Just
talking
fucking
about.
yeah, the ex-professional athlete dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just fucking worked like 12 hours a day. He just fucking sold all day. That's all he did. You know what I mean? So, but fuck, good for him. And
Yeah.
then, you know, so I think that that's probably like if you're looking at long-term career prospects, I would say that and like B2B SaaS, you know what I mean? You can make a
Mhm.
good living. You'll never make that kind of money. But if you're looking for a thing that you can make 250 grand a year, right?
More stable.
Have a lot of consistency, not have to spend your own money, and fucking, you know, have a pretty good work-life balance. Like selling more B2B software-y type stuff. When I mean B2B, I don't mean like selling fucking coaches and consultants business, you know, into like fucking shit like that. It's like, oh, I sell B2B. It's like, no, you don't. You sell that dude into shit. Right. Okay. Like B2B is like multiple decision makers, stakeholders, enterprise level stuff. Right. Like I've been trying to close a deal for fucking 4 months. Right. There's a deal with New Age Education. Right. I think I'm maybe even 5 months in. Right.
Takes a
It's
while.
always a week. It's always a week away. You know, and the level of follow up game. They're actually my follow up. They send to their reps.
Oh, let's go. It's a game now,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. I'm getting them. There's no. I sent balloons to their office.
I saw that
I
post.
tell you. Yeah. I sent balloons. I bought a couple of domains that I redirected to Rickrolls.
Oh, let's
Come
go.
over. Yeah. I've got a plan for when they sign up too, but I won't say it on here because they watch. But yeah, you know, like it's just the way it is. You can't get frustrated. It's like you just gotta like follow the bouncing ball. You know what I mean? I think that's a great thing to do. But again, it takes a lot of patience and you know all that kind of stuff. But fitness is, I think, the best thing to get into. Like if you're a new rep, if you're a setter that's looking to transition, I think come on down to Committed Coaches Town. I don't think there is a better offer in the world. I can
No.
confidently say that. I mean, like $3 million a month 4 months ago, 7 million last month, right?
Yeah.
Cashy collected, USD dollars, right? Not fucking pesos. And not fake money either. Not like fucking saying it on Instagram to be cool. Like they don't post anything.
No,
Yeah.
nothing at all.
The
It's hard to
website
find
pretty sure
information.
is coming soon. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, phenomenal business, like good people, interesting model. And if you're a sales rep that wants to learn, get after it, like that's a fucking great place to be because, you know, they have a way of selling, which I think is good. Like Eli Sanchez runs runs most of the sales. I do some sales training. I do a lot of recruiting for that place, but because like, man, if you're a rep, you can fucking go there and you can kill it. There's
It's a good
tons of
opportunity.
different products to sell. You know what I mean? There's like lots of different products. Just if you don't like one, you can go to a different one or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And there's lots of different sales training opportunities, but also like you can, you know, you can get reps. And if you're going to practice one style, it's just fucking talking to people and not sound like a fucking weirdo.
You
Like
can get
not a
reps without a lot of
weirdo.com.
pressure. Like there's not a lot of pressure. You're not going to get,
Mm.
nobody's calling you if you didn't close somebody because there's 11,000 leads. We're not, I think we had 40% lead coverage last week.
Yeah,
or
it's
something
fucking
like
wild.
that. So it's pretty,
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
just
wild. So,
uh,
I maybe another good question that might be a little bit more appropriate. And what about the people that they know they need to get better at their tone, they know they need to get better at the things you're talking about, but they don't know how. Even if maybe they paid for a training program and they've been trying to. I think that I don't know if we'll have the same opinion on this. We've never talked about it before. But how do you kind of start to coach people that, or how would you tell them to get better?
What I generally do is I sort of do an assessment on the person's personality, like while I'm talking to them, and you can usually tell pretty quickly, like just in the first 5 words, right?
Yep.
But like I'd tell them to do like polar opposite, extreme.
Mhm.
I had that guy I was talking about, who's a bit of a steamroller. I had
Yep.
him go, "Hey, I need you to be like the most beta cuck, you hate yourself version of weak and meager on this next role play." And he sounded like a nice guy.
Yep.
And I was like, "I know you're gonna hate me for this, but that was 100 times better, and that's what you need to do." He was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I hated it." I was like, "Yeah, I know, but listen back to it. You just sound like a normal guy." Yeah, man.
You're not
Like,
actually being that beta.
yeah. And so it's sort of like allowing them to do that, and then that positive reinforcement of like, yes, click, click, here's your treat.
Yep.
And then go, okay, that element, and then it's just one part of it. Just go like just your opener, and then script that to the shit house, and then get consistent at it, and then try and work it down. I think that's usually how I sort of fix that. I find that's a good way to fix a lot of weird things that people do. You get them to
Yeah.
sort of try and go the other way, and then they kind of, like you take a really nice Canadian man and tell him to be a real asshole, but be the worst version. You hate yourself, at the rudest person you've ever met, most arrogant. And they're like, "Hello." They're like, "That's okay. Yeah, sweet."
Okay. I
Yeah.
guess we're
They're
here.
like, "Hey, guy, you need to really think about that." you know. But and they go, "Oh, okay." Like it's sort of like give them permission. Then they can listen back to themselves. And I find listening to yourself is a lot more useful than listening to, like review your own calls and then go, "Oh yeah, how does that actually sound?" Try and be
I
objective
actually
about it.
think that if more people reviewed their calls, they could coach themselves, especially like if they're in a membership like yours. It's low cost. There's a ton of videos to go through. You can go through that, get a baseline knowledge base. And then if you start reviewing your own calls, if you can remove yourself from thinking as the sales rep and over analyzing yourself and hating your own voice, and you actually are able to step away, put yourself in the other shoes, most people can common sense their way to a decent script. It's like, what would somebody have to say to me if if I filled out that ad and I was here and in that situation? What would somebody have to say to me to get me to move forward to the next part of the script? And you can common sense your way there for the most part.
Yeah, that was, I would say 90% of the sales training that I did was just me reviewing my own calls.
Yep. Same.
Because like I know what I was thinking, so I can see if my thinking. I think people get really sidetracked by the words.
Yep.
Right, but they're not thinking of like the intent of the word and what happened.
Yes.
And so I think if you can make that shift and go, don't worry about like the word track. Worry about, I thought this, but in hindsight, I can now see that I should have thought this. It's like, how do I learn to recognize that earlier?
Yep.
Right? That's what you want to learn. And then from there, it's like, okay, well, I asked my question like this. The words, this is the words, the tonality, the intonation, everything. And this is the answer I got. Was that the intended answer that I wanted? If not, was the answer vague? So what they'll do is they'll change the whole question. When in reality, if they just put like a slight hesitation before or after a word, they would then be far clearer what they meant. And so I think a lot of people's questions are vague, and that doesn't mean like it just means that the intent is not clear.
And a lot of times we'll come up with questions that are if somebody asked them to us, they would cause sales resistance because they sound salesy. But when you're thinking as a sales rep, you don't realize it, and you're like, oh, that'll make them buy. And if you just take 2 seconds to step back and think about, if somebody said that to me, would it work? A lot of it is probably no.
Yeah. And then you realize also you don't need a lot of questions. One of the things I used to do really deliberately was that I would listen to all my calls and then I would say, did that answer provide anything that moved me towards the sale?
Yep.
And a lot of time it was like, not really. And so I would just ask the whole question, just boom, gone. And then do my script for the next week or two. And then I would listen back to calls and I would say, okay, did that change? Did I need it? And I would go, sweet. And the length of my calls reduced dramatically because I cut the questions down. And there's all these like filler questions that were just, they were there. And then because I had like analogies and stuff like that and like pre-frames because this wasn't that good. And so I think that those things are a really good tool to use when you're not that good.
Yeah, the better you get, the less you need them.
Yeah, if your tonality is really good, your timing is really good, you just don't need that stuff. And so I've slowly sort of taken a lot of that stuff out. But that element of, I think a lot of people have these additive measures all the time.
Yeah.
And if they could just every now and then just reduce, because if you can get your sales script down to like, oh yeah, I can pitch by minute 20, then you have a far greater chance of getting that sale because like no one can remember the totality of an hour-long conversation. Like people just forget bits and pieces of it. And so if it's going to be forgotten, what was the point of talking about it?
Yeah, I've done the same thing in my insurance scripts. I actually just posted a YouTube video about it. But I started to realize that in insurance, everybody's getting it because of identity. It's not like a logistical problem. You know what I mean? Because there are other people.
What do you mean because of identity? What does that mean?
Like you have insurance, right?
Yeah.
To protect your family. And
yeah,
there are other people in your same shoes, right, that are making the same amount of money, that have a family that probably don't have insurance. And so you view it as a logistical problem. And that's why you're getting the insurance is for logistical reasons. But really you see the problem because of who you are and the type of father you are. Type of partner.
Oh no, I was like, I remember like there was an issue with the payment for our insurance, right? As in like they didn't want to, anyway, it bounced a couple of times, but it was like because of it's in Australia, you need to come out of a certain type of thing. And I was fucking freaking out calling everyone because I was like about to go on a trip. And I was like, fuck's sake, like I can't have my premium not be paid. That's the best reason to not pay the family if I fucking die.
Yep.
So I was like fuck, I was calling everyone. I was like,
yeah,
this
exactly.
fucking thing sorted.
But a lot of people would not have done that. So most people in insurance, they ask a lot of logistical questions, like what would happen to your family if nothing happened to you? And they try to back people into a logistical corner. And I saw bigger lifts and I was able to duplicate with the team better. Just ignoring everything they say that's about logistics and making it all about identity. And it shortened the call time by a lot. And they convert
like,
way better.
Irresponsible fathers don't have insurance.
Yeah.
Like, straight up.
And so
like if one of my friends was like, oh, I haven't got insurance, I'd be like, you fucking retarded? What are you doing? Like, let's call them right now. Like, do you not have the money for it? I'll pay it. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's craziness that people do that.
Yeah.
But we view it that way because of who we are. And so I literally removed like 5 or 6 questions that are in almost everybody else's insurance script. And I ask one. I say, so is it more so that beneficiary blank, like if something happened to you, they could come up with the money and like they would figure it out and they would be all right. You just don't want them to have to go through that? Or is it more so that like if something happened to you, they would be screwed? And there was like, it took 7 questions to get that answer before. I ask it in one and there's way less resistance and they're just like, they tell me which one. They don't care. They're just like, yeah, like they'd be fucked. I'm like, okay, got it.
Okay. We should probably fix that then.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
We should probably fix that.
I also like the objection handling. You know, like these people would try these really fancy objection handling handles with insurance. They go, I want to go and think about it. It's like, yeah, but what if you die in between now and then?
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty genuine question.
It is a
Yeah, but
genuine.
what if you die in between now and then? What happens? I guess they'd be fucked. All right. Well, I mean, do you want that? Like, do we need to think about this anymore? Like, what are we thinking about? On is it what level of fucked your family is? Let's try zero fucked. You want
Yeah,
that?
and
Okay.
there's no commitment either. So like, what are we talking about? Like
Yeah.
insurance, legally speaking, they can cancel it for 30 days. There's nothing you can do about it as the agent.
Yeah, but at least they have cover while they think about it.
Yeah, now they have
Say you're
coverage while
done,
they think
say
about
you
it.
paid, you can cancel tomorrow, right? And
Yeah.
then you've got 30 days worth of coverage. You know what I mean? But at least if you fucking cock it over the next 30 days, at least you're covered. It's
Yeah.
like the least irresponsible thing you could do.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
You know? Yeah. So it's like, anyway, people are weird. But yeah, I like it. So if you guys want more information, and you want to come in, join Cayden's team on Committed Coaches, you know, go. I've got some stuff, you know, in the YouTube membership if you want that. It's like $49 to $199 a month. Has access to. I have a call on Thursday with 27 coaches from all different industries who are gonna be donating an hour of their month each month to talk about different subjects and stuff like that. And then next week, so I started a call review submission. Next week we can review some calls live.
$200 a month.
Podcast. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Well, $49 a month is the cheapest one. You just don't get the coaching sessions, but you still get to watch the coaching sessions.
Pretty wild.
So,
pretty wild.
Yeah. But I've also got like a call submission. I mean, you can have a little bit of fun and review a couple calls and see what we think. Because
that'll be some fun.
that is one of the funnest things to do is review people's horrible sales calls. So,
They're going to be great.
They're going to be great. It's funny, I had to put on the form, I'm not giving you feedback. You may never hear from this. Don't ever ask me anything. If there's a credit card detail in there, may God have mercy on your soul. Right? Like,
God have mercy on your soul.
like, don't be an idiot. Just please. So yeah, I had someone send me a core review once. It was a business owner, and I didn't like them. And it had a credit card details and all the information for like this like couple in New York. And so I called the couple.
Dang.
Yeah, I was like, hey, just so you know, because it was like so blatantly irresponsible.
Yep.
And like I had told them, and they were like, oh, it's not a big deal. I was like, oh, it's for sure a big deal. They were like, man. So I called the couple. I was like, just so you know.
Yeah,
Like,
just
oh
so
my
you know.
God, thank you.
But they were very
I was
appreciative.
like, I have your name, your phone number, your email, your physical address, and your credit card number.
Who
Just
knows what
floating
could
out there on
happen?
a recording. It's
Did
just
you use
floating
your
out there on a
secret voice
recording.
for that call?
I was just like, I got it from these people. They asked me to review a sales call. They didn't sanitize it. I thought you should know. That's a fucking shitty thing to do. You gotta be real careful with that shit. Because like you can lose the business can lose their entire ability to process payments. But also more importantly, that person can easily be scammed because like that's illegal. Can't do that.
So
Just so you know, guys, you're not supposed to hear the number. That's the whole point of it. You as a sales rep cannot hear the number. So you can't take it. You can't pause the recording. That's not how you do it. Anyway, doesn't matter. I don't do it. So whatever. All right, guys. Have a good one.
See you guys on the next
Bye.
one.
See you, bro. Bye.